Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the very first successful gluten-free recipe I tried, chocolate chip cookies, the most important treat ever. Let's get started. Hello. If you're cooking along with me, go ahead and get the recipe from the description and turn your oven to 350. First thing we need in our mixer is butter. Well, you know, I use that term loosely. Butter substitute.
It's
not really that. I am using salt-free today because these are peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, which happen to be a favorite combination of someone that needs to be low sodium. So I'm using salt-free butter, and I'm just gonna give that a quick soften. And to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of salt-free peanut butter. Yes, they do make such a thing, and it just tastes like peanuts.
It only takes 1 cup.
1 cup. It is, however, just as ooey gooey as all other peanut butter. And I'm going to let this mix for about a minute till it's all creamy and kind of a light brown color. We want this to get light and fluffy. So that's where I should say, please subscribe. Don't forget the recipe's in the description. We're getting there, but we want all of those lumps gone. If you can't have peanut butter, sun butter would be a good substitute in this recipe. I haven't tried it with almond butter, but I think it would be just as good.
What is sun butter?
Sunflower seeds.
Oh.
So that would be if you have a nut allergy. That looks nice and creamy. I'm just going to scrape down the sides of my bowl and then add some sugar. And I'm going to use 1 cup of regular white granulated sugar. And beat that for another minute or two. Again, we want to make sure everything's nice and incorporated, and by mixing it, we're adding air to make them a little bit fluffier. I'm just going to stop and scrape down just every once in a while just to make sure that I'm getting everything nice and incorporated. Want to leave any peanut butter behind. So like I said, this was the very first gluten-free recipe I tried. I found it in a magazine called Living Without that I don't know if it's even still in publication. It might have changed its name, but a friend gave me the magazine for Christmas when I very first became gluten-free. And of course, the things that you miss the most are the things you think you're never going to be able to have again. And chocolate chip cookies was one of those things. So I found this recipe, and it turned out great and has been a family favorite ever since. Wasn't really keeping track of time, but that looks pretty good. I don't know how essential the, mix for 1 minute, mix for 2 minutes is. They still turn out yummy no matter what, but maybe it just makes them a little extra better. Extra better, that's probably not grammatically correct.
Extra butter?
No butter. I'm adding 1 egg. And again, mix. This one just until the egg's incorporated. It doesn't need to be a long mix. Once that's fairly well mixed in, like I can't see any yolk, I'm gonna add some vanilla. One cap is about a teaspoon. That looks good. Scrape down the sides again. Just kind of scrape the bottom a little bit because sometimes with mixers, things like to collect in the bottom. And now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. So I'm gonna start with 1.5 cups of flour. You could mix your dry ingredients together and then put them in, but I never do that and it works fine for me. So we're gonna go 1.5 cups of flour. This is my basic flour blend. You can watch that video as well if you're curious about what's in my flour blend. And then I'm also going to add some baking soda, just 1/2 teaspoon. This recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I am leaving it out. It is not essential to the baking process. Salt is one of those things that we are easily addicted to and think that we need to have in our food, and really it works fine without it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix that together. If you notice, I did not put xanthan gum in this. I do not put it in my mix either. This recipe does not need it. Which I think is probably one of the reasons that I tried this recipe first, is because if you've been purchasing gluten-free ingredients long, xanthan gum is kind of expensive, and it was something that I wasn't really sure what the purpose of it was, so I didn't want to spend that money in the beginning, so that was one of the reasons I tried this recipe early on. Oops, I should have locked that in place. All right, so that's all mixed together. Now I'm going to release it from the blade and add some chocolate chips. So today I'm using an Enjoy Life semi-sweet chocolate chip because as far as allergen friendly goes, this is what I can find near me, and it's free of almost all of the allergens of people I know, so we go with it. And I'm just gonna mix that until the chocolate chips are incorporated, mostly. That's it. Now I'm ready for my baking pan. Get this out of the way. Ooh, chocolate chip, go back. So I have my baking sheet here lined with parchment paper because we all know I do not like to scrub dishes. I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in this bowl here. So these are peanut butter cookies, and the traditional peanut butter cookie you scoop out and then kind of squish down with a fork. So we're going to do that here, even though there's chocolate chips in it. I like to use a cookie scoop. Oops, okay, get a hold of that. Here we go, cookie scoop. To make them uniform and even. All right, so I'm just gonna scoop out my cookies. And you notice it's kind of a dry dough, so I'm kind of pressing it against the side as I scoop it, just to make sure I get all of the chocolate chips and peanut butter in there. Regular size chocolate chips work just as well. It happens to be, this is the only ones available. Which happens a lot when you're doing allergen-friendly cooking. You take what you can get. All right, then I'm gonna take my fork, dip it in my sugar, and then make the traditional peanut butter crisscross pattern. This is not a necessary step. It's just a little extra, kind of makes it fun. Okay, into my 350 oven for 10 minutes. All right, timer's going off. Let's see how we did. Oh yeah, nice and toasty around the bottom. I'm seeing a little bit of golden brown. I'm gonna move these over to my cooling rack here. Oh, if I can get a hold of the... I like my chocolate chip cookies to be soft in the middle. And gluten-free baked goods tend to be drier over time. Oh, that one was too soft. Be drier over time, and so I figure if I start out a little soft, it gives them that leeway. Maybe a little too soft on some of those. Yep. Well, they're hot. The one that breaks is the one you have to eat because it's not good enough to share. All right, while those cool a little bit, I'm gonna bake up another batch and then we can taste them. Ooh, I got messy fingers.
Yeah, yummy. So tell me what you just said about the flavor of the no salt peanut butter when we're off camera.
Tattling on me for eating the peanut butter.
Well, yeah, but this is the first time in a while cooking with it.
Oh.
And you said I can actually taste peanuts.
Yeah, I tasted the batter, or raw egg there. The no salt, no sugar added peanut butter is actually a more intense peanut butter flavor. You can actually taste the peanut butter in the cookies. It's really good. There you have it, warm chocolate chip peanut butter cookies. Yum.
I think I just had you redo it.
So you can have another one. Goodbye.